I love Coach Cohen and the whole staff and everyone that's in, all the guys that were brought in free agency, just good dudes, good players too. But I really feel like we've done some great things this offseason.
Adding people who are intangibly rich. And Travis, in fact, as a player, is rare. But as a person, he's also rare.
Gets away from one and superhuman pick from Travis Hunter. Put the cape on him already.
I think he has a great career ahead of him, both sides of the ball. If he's the best DB, is he the best wide receiver? Who knows? But is he a great playmaker on both sides of the ball? Yeah. Yes, he is. And at the end of the day, when you're a team like, us right now, who's in that stage of we have to get it right now. We need the best playmakers on the field at all times. And if he can give you that value, let's do it.
We need to go win football games. And right now, am I optimistic? Absolutely. But I'm also realistic. Like, hey, let's not break our arms, patting ourselves in the back, how great things are going right now. Because ultimately, it's about winning football games, and that's what we're focused on.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. The trio is back together here on this Friday, heading into the final preseason weekend of 2025, and then it's on to Jaguar football versus the Carolina Panthers in a couple of weeks. Good morning, everybody. Tony Smith is back after the bus ride. I was thinking about it. You don't ride on a school bus with Bowles, do you?
No. We're on a charter bus.
Yeah. I was picturing you, and you're like, I'm going to ride down with the team. I'm like, Tony's on that Bluebird special, right? With the windows that, like, if you pop them down an inch. At least this was the way it was on the school buses I rode back in the day. Yeah. You hit a bump, and it would slam open all the way to the bottom, right? We had that happening quite a bit on our buses.
Hear that noise.
Yeah. I spent a year having to sit in the front seat of the school bus. I don't remember what grade it was. Might have been like 8th grade because, acting up was a big phrase they used back then. First day on the bus, and the bus driver's like, that's it. This is your seat for the rest of the year. I'm like, what about? They're all, I'm the one who's going to get singled out here.
No, Bowles travels on the charter buses for these trips.
I kind of thought about that after the fact. So Bowles got the dub.
They did 34-15 over Monarch last night.
Okay. Monarch, is Monarch any good?
They're kind of average for Miami teams.
Which is pretty good, probably.
Which is not bad.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're not a bad football team, but Bowles, if their offensive line stays healthy, they're going to be an issue for anyone in the area, that's for sure.
Well, you know what we call that game last night, Tony? We call that the tune-up. Because Baldwin is in action, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Taking on Inglewood. Coach Denmark, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
How are we feeling?
We're feeling good. We got to hope the weather stays away.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, the weather is looming. It rained all yesterday. And right about kickoff is when the showers are supposed to roll in.
Now, the showers are okay, right? It's the lightning?
Correct.
So what do you, if you have lightning in the area, is it like 20-minute wait, 30-minute wait?
Every strike is 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Within a 10-mile radius.
So what's the longest lightning delay you've ever suffered through and actually got a game in?
I remember one time my junior year, we didn't start that kickoff till like 10. That was a long wait.
What time did the Bowles game start last year?
That's a great question. Like 8-something, 8:30?
Like I know the bus, like the team bus arrived right basically at kickoff. Like the start had already been delayed.
You guys charter over to Baldwin too?
No. I don't know. They might charter over to Baldwin. They might charter everywhere, honestly. But I don't do the short travel stuff.
You're not on the school, right? The school trip.
I'll just drive myself
takes his car.
over
He's
to
an adult.
Baldwin right at that point, but didn't want to do it last night. Yeah, they showed up. Baldwin was a little bit late because they do have to wait on the buses, right, to get there.
They're on West Side time,
the county's busy, that time of day getting the kids home. So they had to wait a little bit. They got delayed arriving at the school. They were playing at Bowles, and we were lined up for the opening kickoff, and we all saw the lightning.
The bottom opened up, and then a lightning strike happened within like less than a mile of the field.
Yeah.
And I just busted out laughing. I'm like, this junk, man. And it was a Monday night game, I think, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't on Friday, so there was a hurricane. Yeah. It was just like a delay on it. It was bad.
Yeah.
And we lost bad.
You've watched the film, I take it, right? You're scouting your opponent. Do you feel good about Baldwin's chances tonight?
Yeah, Inglewood got beat pretty good last week, and we got beat pretty good last week.
Tell me something good. Like, give me some coach speak. On Inglewood. Like, why? Tell me why the Baldwin Indians should fear Inglewood in this matchup. Coach speak wise.
We have speed on the outside
for Inglewood.
I feel good about the speed on the outside for Baldwin.
Oh, for Baldwin,
yes,
no.
sir.
But I'm telling you, but
what is the
scouting
threat
your
from
opponent,
Inglewood?
right?
Yeah.
What's the big threat that Inglewood poses?
Oh,
to
well,
you
they got
tonight?
big dudes on the offensive line.
Big dudes. Watch out for the big dudes.
And Middleburg had big dudes, and their big dudes beat our not so big dudes up front.
All right, so it's the big dudes versus the fast dudes is what you're hoping.
Essentially.
Maybe. All right. In an oversimplified way of going about it. There's your high school
better
update.
hope it doesn't rain.
You are all locked in right now, ladies and gentlemen. We'll find out from David Garrard what Fletcher does on Monday. Actually, we won't. DG's off next Monday,
We'll talk to him in a couple weeks.
We'll talk to him in a couple weeks, find out how Fletcher is doing. Tom McManus is out in Vegas. He's going to join us coming up in the second hour of the program. Jamal St. Cyr was in South Florida with your Jacksonville Jaguars, still down there, and he'll join us coming up here in less than 10 minutes. Tony, was there any thought to you double dipping, pulling double duty, trying to get in a little joint practice as well as
no.
the call of the game? No?
No.
When did you guys go down? You guys go down?
We went down on Wednesday.
Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon. We left in the afternoon. We got down there, had dinner, and then went to the hotel for the night, and then we were doing various things yesterday. It was kind of fun watching the coaches because they had different things planned. Like lunch was at Dave & Buster's, and they gave all the kids like $50 cards, right? It's all the county paying for all this stuff down there. Broward County putting on this event. They paid for the hotel, apparently. They paid for the Dave & Buster's. They paid for Outback, I think, that night, like for dinner as well.
In Denmark's day, they're all ineligible now.
Yeah, like that kind of thing was going on. And then I'm watching the coaches just try to keep all the kids moving enough because I know I'm watching them get fed 3 or 4 times in the
up
day.
on Dave & Buster's.
Right, they're going to Dave & Buster's, and coach is like, the only thing I won't allow you to do is sit around anywhere. Just keep moving. Walk. Everybody move. He's just trying to keep their legs activated. It was funny when we were leaving the Outback. He was like, all right, kids, before we get on the bus to go to where we're actually playing tonight, everyone has to walk 2 laps around the restaurant, and then we're getting on the bus and heading out. He was just trying to get their legs reactivated. Dang. Apparently it worked. I mean, 34-15.
Yeah, hey, look, good for them. You sound like y'all eating a lot better than the Dempsey household, man. I need to get on that high school football meal plan or something.
Like private school meal plan is what it is.
Unbelievable, man. A private school meal plan, is that what it is?
That ain't no Duval County.
That ain't no Mike Dempsey either, right? Let me tell you what. I had a lot of friends that were private school kids up to like 8th grade and growing up, Catholic school kids is what they were.
I didn't have access to that. I went to Wolfson. Like, I didn't have access.
Look, bro, talk about throwing Wolfson under the bus. Are you kidding? I went to Wolfson. Are you kidding me?
We didn't have any
Wolfson,
of that, right?
Man.
Like, we only see Bulls coming and kind of just duck and cover. Like, that's the only response you have. And now they're in a district together. It is what it is.
All right. Well, Tone, as I was following along, hopefully you were following some of the discourse about what was going on at the joint practice yesterday. Yeah. D-Rock was in with me, of course. Good to have him back. But it felt like the Jags were having a not-so-great practice. But it seems like there were some individual standouts, and the defense seemed to shine. I heard John Shipley on with XL Primetime yesterday, so I felt a little bit better about the proceedings. So we've got Jamal St. Cyr from Channel 4 coming up, who's on the scene, and he'll give us his breakdown of what went down on the field. Our Chad and Sandy real estate question of the day today asks, it's a little bit of a deep cut one, but it's where we're at right now at this point in the offseason. Which roster battle or battles are you most interested in for the Jaguars when they take on the Dolphins in their preseason finale tomorrow? That's as simple as it gets. It could be one guy. Hey, is this guy going to make the roster? I'm curious to see. A lot of people want to know how the running back room plays out. I heard Hayes Carline making a lot of the Liam Cohen comment yesterday that it's going to be tough to have 4 guys active, running backs active on game day. Hayes was surprised. I'm not surprised in the least. No team activates 4 tailbacks on game day. No. That's why it's odd all along that it seems like we're heading down that road that 4 tailbacks are going to be on this roster. Now, it's different. 3 tailbacks and a fullback, things like that happen. But to have 4 active tailbacks, I couldn't tell you the last time a team has done that.
Yeah, it's
that
not
I can
common.
remember, right? Super not common. Super not common. There's a a good expression for you.
Rare.
We'll try to make that on, put that on a T-shirt. But anyway, super not common. We'll get into everything from Jamal's perspective coming up next. If you want to be a part of the program on the Checkmate Coatings phone line, 641-1010 is the way to get on board. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. You know you can stream us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or hit us up on social media at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
It has begun.
Yes, indeed. All right, well, it has begun, and it's almost wrapped up. That's the preseason. We'll talk about the joint practice with the Dolphins and look ahead to tomorrow night with Jamal St. Cyr. Coming up next on Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for big number 1 Duval Ford. Great place to work. They've got all kinds of career opportunities. Great place to take your vehicle to get service, whether you buy it at Duval Ford or not. They can take care of you with over 90 service bays. They're a legacy company here in Jacksonville. Been in Duval for over 100 years. They're not going anywhere. Sell them the best selection of F-150 Super Duties and Broncos. Big number 1 Duval Ford on Cassett Avenue and online at duvalford.com.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. 1010XL's Hayes Carline represents you in the locker room.
So you gotta up your game.
Interview persons of interest so you'll have the information you need to get ready for game day.
Time to put on your game face.
Open by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Now this is how you end a summer. Under the lights, surrounded by history. The driver's last shot at the playoffs. Your last chance to see regular season action. Friday night, Xfinity lights the fuse. Saturday night, the Cup Series delivers the fireworks. This is Daytona. This is everything. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 22nd and 23rd. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatersparking.com and book your space today.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
In late July, Florida's unforgiving heat beats down on the practice field. Every time something you need to know happens at training camp, you'll hear about it on 1010XL. Covered by Green Acres Sporting Goods and Roland Reach Plumbing.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Jacksonville. Disrupted is here. From the PGA's cutting-edge Tourcast to game-changing sports science, technology gets its spotlight. The 27th of August. Get your tickets at disruptitfl.com.
If you want to sell your home, or you're worried about selling your home, or you've had trouble selling your home, let me give you the hotline to the help you need. That's the hotline to Chad and Sandy. 904-414-6200, chadandsandy.com. Area homes are selling, but you got to get the right price, and you need the right marketing, the proven systems. Chad and Sandy hit every base for you. Need to sell now? Instant offers coming. Fast, easy, stress-free. You want max price? Chad and Sandy bring your home to market with unmatched exposure, whether you're buying or selling. Fast or max cash, Chad and Sandy have the proven plan guaranteed. And how about this promise? Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. They are the real estate experts you can trust. So call them today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, A-N-D, Sandy.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, let's welcome in our man, Jamal St. Cyr, Channel 4. He's on the Checkmate Coatings hotline this morning down in South Florida with your Jacksonville Jaguars. Attended the joint practice yesterday, and we got to follow along through his reporting what was going on in the field. Jamal, good morning. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good. How's it going, guys?
That's going very well. Happy to announce, as we already have on social media, but glad to have you in the Jaguars Today Fantasy League family for 2025 and hopefully many years to come. So look forward to drafting with you in a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah, I'm geeked. I love fantasy football. I've been playing for years. I mean, I've listened to your show on XM radio, getting fantasy advice for a long time. So, yeah, I'm geeked about it.
Despite that, we wish you the best, all right? Hey, look, at first, I got the impression things were not too rosy down there yesterday, right? Then I heard John Shipley came on XL Primetime yesterday and said, hey, no, here are some positives there. Let's start there, okay? Because it felt like there were some offensive woes at times, some protection issues. But what stood out to you from a positive standpoint from the Jags joint practice, Jamal?
The positives for me, I spent most of my time keeping a close eye on the offense, but I did see a handful of the defensive snaps. I'd say the positives, Brian Thomas Jr., look, that dude's just different, man. Scored a pair of touchdowns, and both of them just made him look easy. He is explosive as ever, and just honestly, the dude's just good at football. I don't think it gets more complicated than that for BT. When it's time to compete, he cranks it up to another level, and he goes out there and takes care of business. Parker Washington, I think we've talked about him having a really good training camp, but I think he had a good day of joint practice with the Dolphins, too, taking care of his business during one-on-ones, during team drills, made a couple of catches, and there was one where, honestly, Trevor just missed him deep down the field where he had gotten wide open. Should have been another touchdown for Parker. So T-Dub's been stacking some really good days. On the defensive side of the ball, honestly, it's the guys that you want to stand out that stood out. Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker are like your stars of that defense, and both of them looked like it out there on the joint practice field. So, I mean, I think that was my biggest, positive takeaway is that the Jaguars' really good players played like really good players. And then you got a guy that's maybe under the radar like Parker Washington that stood out a little bit and continues to flash. So it looks like maybe he's ready to step up and take maybe a little bit of a bigger role, a more consistent role in this Jaguars offense. So I think those were the big positives for me.
What about the flip side of that? What maybe didn't work out so well for him on the practice field yesterday?
Protection was an issue. I don't think Trevor Lawrence was very sharp. He described his day as sloppy, and I'd go ahead and agree with that. I think there were some communication issues along the way. I mean, like one of the interceptions that Trevor threw, he threw 2 picks on the day. One of them, Brenton Strange never even looked back for the ball. Trevor just rifles it to him, and it ends up straight in Minkah Fitzpatrick's lap because Strange never looked for it. So, I mean, you got to get guys on the same page for that kind of stuff and really clean up. I think it was a little disappointing that Travis Hunter wasn't able to go. We couldn't see him in that sort of environment and really gauge what he was going to be able to do on both sides of the football out there. I mean, I think my biggest takeaway is that the running game never really got going because the offensive line really was doing them no favors, and Trevor and the quarterbacks were harassed. Even one of the Brian Thomas Jr. touchdowns, I mean, we could make a solid argument that it probably should have ended in a sack. The offensive line's got to be better in those situations, and I don't think they had the best day.
You know, it's funny. I read your tweets, Jamal, and follow along. And sometimes it's like the roller coaster. It's like, Trevor to BTJ beat so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And then right at the end, would have been sacked by Zach Seiler or whoever it was. It was like, oh, man, let me enjoy this for a minute. I think there was a Bradley Chubb one in there as well. But so as it stands now, who do you think is the opening day right guard for this football team?
I think it's going to be Chuma Edoga. I think Chuma's won that job. I think that's what's going to end up happening at right guard. I think the offensive line at this point is pretty set. The competition never really developed. I mean, I think the injury to Wyatt Milam has slowed down his maybe ascent once they started getting him more reps and moving him around and really were liking what they're seeing. But now he's banged up, and we're not sure how long he's going to be sidelined for. But I don't think he's going to be ready to roll probably even for week 1, so we'll see what happens with that. But I think the offensive line's pretty set. I think the only switch that we had is probably going to be that right guard. I think Chuma Edoga is going to be your starter at right guard in week 1 against the Panthers.
What does that mean for Patrick McCary? Where is he starting on this line, or is he a utility player week 1?
I think he ends up being a utility player for you week 1, where he's your guy who's your top backup at just about every position. I mean, you can call him your Tyler Shatley, where if somebody goes down, it's McCary time, and he's going to end up in there. I think that's ultimately what's going to happen for him.
Now, talking here with Jamal St. Cyr at Channel 4, I don't know if you were able to focus in on Eric Armstead enough yesterday to have a strong opinion about it, but the reports are that he had a really good practice yesterday. Jamal, is it possible, just possible, that maybe everything that was keeping him off the field was legit? He's back now. Mason Smith's back now. They add Colin Saunders. Could the interior of the defensive line actually, in the end, turn out to be maybe a strength for this football team?
I don't know about a strength.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm willing to go that far just yet, but I think it can be better than what we were looking at it as. I think Eric's reached that point of it in his career where he's going to have those veteran rest days, and he's going to need that time. And I don't know, even if he's back in Jacksonville next year, if we're going to see him cranking it up early in training camp. I mean, you saw Doug and the last staff do similar things with him throughout the training camp process, and them saying, well, we know what he's going to be for week 1. And then it didn't necessarily work out like that, but moving him back inside the defensive tackle, I think we're going to see a resurgence of this guy. And then, I'm still high on Mason Smith. They just got to get him healthy. I think that was the hardest thing, is that with Eric and Mason both sidelined, you really had no clue of what you had because you couldn't see if Mason was ready to take that big jump and going into year 2 to give you that lift. All you had was Devon and Tyler Lacey, but I think Colin Saunders is going to be a solid addition. We had made the argument for a while that really your only body type for that nose spot was Devon Hamilton. So now you add another guy with that body type that can give you rotation snaps there, especially some just in case. I think the defensive tackle spot will be fine. I don't know that it's going to be a strength of the football team. I think all of that just depends on just how much of, I guess, his old self or his prime self that Eric Armstead can get back to and how big of a jump Mason Smith can take. If Mason can pick up where he left off at the end of last season and Eric Armstead can maybe get back to the guy that we saw in San Francisco, yeah, that defensive line for the Jaguars starts looking scary if you start talking about guys' ceilings.
Coach Cohen said yesterday that the starters won't be going tomorrow for the Jags to close out the preseason. Who do you think would be your 2 or 3 top candidates for guys that are playing for a job, for a roster spot tomorrow for the team?
I think Tyler Irwin has a shot at that wide receiver, 5 spot. Mm-hmm. So I think he's worth keeping an eye on. He gives you a little special teams value. He's a veteran, so he's in the running there. I think they'll also be kind of looking around the league to see who ends up on the streets to fill that role. So I think he's a guy that I'll be keeping an eye on. Another guy, I think Christian Braswell. He's been around the Jags for a little bit, kind of been a bubble guy. With Travis Hunter sidelined and when Tyson Campbell was sidelined, he's been the first rotation corner up in there. So he's been getting some snaps with that starting group even yesterday down in Miami. So I think Christian Braswell is a guy who's hanging right around that edge of the roster that they've gotten some deep looks at that this game is going to be real important for. And the running backs, honestly, there's enough flux there. And Liam Cohen made the comment that it's going to be tough to have 4 guys up on game day. Well, you got 2 rookies you like, and then you got 2 veteran guys that have been here and that have had success in the NFL. So somebody's going to be the odd guy out, right? And LaQuint Allen, he's good at what he's good at, which is in the passing game. Facial Tootin, we know how explosive he is, so this is going to probably be their last chance to really make an exclamation point of why they need to be up on game day or why, to try and force the Jags' hand to make a move with one of those other guys.
Jamal, if a team came calling on the Jags, right, and they said, hey, we're interested, you seem to have a surplus of running backs, Etienne or Bigsby, which one would the Jags feel like they could best replicate with, what they have left over? In other words, which one would they miss the least, in their opinion?
I think they'd miss Tank the least. I think he missed Tank the least because he doesn't give you a ton of – like, the big thing that Liam Cohen wants is every look to look exactly the same, to where defenses can't tell if you're running out there and or if you're passing or running, because everything looks and acts the same, right? And Tank is not a threat in the passing game. I think Bashal Tutin gives you a lot of what you get from Tank Bigsby, and I think that's where it is. And I think that Travis Etienne has played a little bit of a different role, where he's the guy who's split out wide a lot and going in motion and things of that nature, where, I mean, we've seen a couple of those reps throughout camp for Tank, but Travis is in that role. Etienne is lined up there, and they clearly have a plan for his skill set. I mean, we've seen enough of those jet sweeps in the games where they're getting it to the wide receiver. Gave it to De'Ami Brown in one of the preseason games on, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, gave it to him on a little jet sweep. They've done those same actions with the running back. So that's going to be a way to get the ball to Travis Etienne and let him use that speed. Where Tank, they've lined him up pretty much exclusively in the backfield almost. You can do that with Tutin and get a little bit more explosive. So I think Tank is the guy you'd miss the least. The only difference is Travis Etienne's on the last year of his contract. So if you've already made the decision that you're going to move on from him in a year, then economics says maybe he's the other side of the card and the better decision.
Training camp is wrapped up. They'll wrap up the preseason tomorrow for the football team. Where do you think at this moment the team is most improved heading into 2025?
Most improved? Whew, that's tough. I think wide receivers better. I think wide receivers much better. I mean, think about going into last year. You didn't really know what you had in BT. Now you know, and you feel like you got a superstar in your hands. You've added Travis Hunter, who, even if you count him as a half a receiver, is probably going to be really good in the half a receiver that you get from him. I think Parker Washington has taken a solid step, and I think De'Ami Brown's going to be solid in the role that they have him in. I think this collection of receivers is a step up from what you had last year going in, where you had Christian Kirk coming off an injury and he ended up getting hurt anyway. You had Gabe Davis, who was injured throughout camp and never really got up to speed, and you had a rookie Brian Thomas. So I think the biggest step was at the wide receiver position.
All right, we'll wrap with this, Jamal, and great coverage as always. But Mike DiRocco, of course, covers the team for ESPN, was in with me yesterday. He said he thinks once the 53 is set and guys are waved around the league, the Jags will be looking for a big-bodied wide receiver potentially to come in and like that red zone target type guy. Maybe it's that for you or any other position. Is there a specific position you think they'll be looking hard at to find a player to come in and create some competition?
I think they're going to be looking at wide receiver and corner to try and find guys off the street at that last corner spot, and then depth at wide receiver. I don't know if it necessarily has to be a big body guy, but I do think that they're going to be looking for guys that can kind of fill out that rotation a little bit. I mentioned Tyler Irwin earlier as the guy in that wide receiver 5 battle, but, I mean, there's not a ton of upside at this point if you have to play Tyler Irwin. So I think they're going to look for a little bit more of an explosive option. I mean, Sean Payton floated yesterday that the Jaguars had called him about one of his wide receivers. He said that in the press conference.
That's right, Devon Bailey. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're clearly shopping and making calls about guys, and then we'll see what ultimately gets out there on the street. But I don't think the Jaguars are real settled at that wide receiver spot. I mean, it's tough. Like, we're trying to judge this thing based off of Travis Hunter. And, like, one of the things when we start talking about the 53 is, like, how do you count him when he's going to play corner and wide receiver, right?
That's right.
So I think they know they got to add an extra body that can give them snaps, because they're going to be snaps that Travis misses.
Well, no one's going to miss anything if they go to your Twitter timeline. No, seriously, man, you've got on your pinned tweet, you got a notebook, a podcast, a video, interview with Jarian Jones, pictures, and more right there just from yesterday's joint practice right at the top. So excellent coverage, as always. You can find Jamal at JSt.Cyr.TV. You probably already do, but if you don't, go give him a follow and check out all his great content. Enjoy the game this weekend. Safe travels coming back, man. Look forward to having you back on soon.
A deal. Appreciate you guys. Have a great one.
All right, buddy. There he goes, Jamal St. Cyr. Good stuff. We'll reflect on what he had to say when we return in the moment, and we'll hear a little bit from head coach Liam Cohen as well. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carlion, here from a driver who made the smart move to buying a vehicle from Atlantic Infinity.
Hayes, this is my second Infinity, so I knew exactly exactly what I wanted, and Atlantic Infinity made it so easy for me. The GM, Dwayne, had my new ride ready to go, and I was in and out of the dealership in about 30 minutes. The Atlantic Infinity promise just sealed the deal for me. It's $2,500 in added value, including roadside assistance. I am so happy with my new car.
Atlantic Infinity, Atlantic, near St. John's Bluff.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
There's a new game changer in downtown Jacksonville, and it's not the two-way star you might be thinking of. It's Pour Tap Room Jacksonville at Laura and Forsyth. 2 floors, 80 self-pour taps of craft beer, wine and cocktails, and a full liquor bar. Pour Tap Room has all your game day favorites. Wings, burgers, and more. You can even grab a slice or a pie next door at Pizza Dynamo, and they'll bring it right to your table. Pour Tap Room Jacksonville, a beer festival every day.
No more climbing ladders or tree shopping or untangling lights. Nope, Kuhn Flowers will take care of all of this for you this fall when you schedule your holiday home decorating team. This is ET with 1010XL, and now is a good time to call Kuhn Flowers. They'll do it all. They'll do it this fall.
What does AM and PM stand for in terms of the clock?
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
AM stands for anti-meridium, before midday, and PM stands for post-meridium, afternoon.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Looking for your new favorite hangout this football season? Try Voodoo Brewing Company in the heart of San Marco. Locally owned and community focused, Voodoo Brewing serves up award-winning beers, scratch-made upscale pub fare, and laid-back vibes where everyone's welcome. For live music, trivia nights, and all the football action this season, make Voodoo Brewing Company Jacksonville your new favorite spot on San Marco Square.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back. Our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, got a minute?
Always. What's on your mind?
This time of year, my air conditioner is running non-stop. Hot all day, hot all night. It has to run constantly just to keep up.
Well, that's what they do.
But if something happens to it in the middle of a 2-week heat wave, I'm in trouble, Jason. I can't wait 3 days or 2 days or even the next day for service. If you can't get someone here today, I'm sweating by tonight. What if it breaks, Jason?
You call me, pal. That's what we do. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
But you're probably swamped with calls from everyone else's AC that ran nonstop and then broke in a heat wave, so they called you because that's what you do.
But we always have room for an emergency. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we have techs standing by because we know these things happen.
So I don't need to worry. Wow. That time you calmed me down without even using the sunglasses.
Oh, I was reaching for them.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
If life blindsided you tomorrow, would your family struggle? I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial, and I can help. One call could protect your family for life. 904-885-9566. Harborstone Financial.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, boy, a lot of interesting little nuggets with the Jags here. Jamal St. Cyr mentioned it, Tony. I learned about this with the Ryan O'Halloran tweet yesterday about Sean Payton. Let me dig it up right here, if I could. Here it is. Speaking to Denver media moments ago, Coach Sean Payton mentioned Jacksonville when asked about trading wide receiver Devon Vele to the Saints yesterday. Early in the presser, he said talks were had with 2 to 3 teams. Such a weird thing. How many were there? Were there 2 or were there 3? I presume you know. It was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You know, like
we know you traded it to one team. You mentioned another team. So
right.
is it 2?
I'm guessing 2, right? So it's 2 or 17 teams.
Yeah.
One of the 2, but whatever the case.
Yeah.
But if this is accurate, and I'm sure, maybe James Gladstone and company not happy that they're mentioning, because you don't want people to know what you're doing, right? You don't want, it's like, I think Mike Vrabel's over the top. Did you see that Jalen Polk goes on IR yesterday? Their rookie wide receiver, not going to play this year, right? And he talked about basically like rats who are leaking this information out there, because what they don't want is anyone to know about that until they make the move, because maybe they're going to try to surreptitiously add a wide receiver, something like that, and they don't want people to think that they're desperate. Oh, we got you over a barrel right now and have that leverage over him. I presume. I thought he took it like, you're not a mob boss, dude. Like it's not that big a deal, I don't think.
But he learned from one. From an NFL perspective.
From an NFL, right. But, they all take themselves a little bit too seriously.
They do, but Belichick's the king of that.
Yeah, and that's right. And he takes himself way too seriously.
And that's where Vrabel got his training on how to do this thing, so it's not surprising when he acts that way.
I'm so glad we don't have to deal with that kind of nonsense. At least seemingly have to deal with that. Who knows what develops over time, Tony? You never know, right? Yeah. But, look, what this is it's emblematic of the fact that James Gladstone's not going to sit on his hands and go, well, these are the guys I picked earlier this offseason, so this is going to be good enough. No, they recognize and continue to evaluate the roster and say, we may have to move on from this guy or that guy or whatever, and this is what we're missing. And this, they went out and made the Colin Saunders move, and which I think is a solid move.
For sure.
And I don't know if he changes the whole dynamic of the team this year, but again, it's just recognition of he's grinding behind the scenes. You don't know who else he's called about any number of players, right? Like the Luke Fortner thing, did that just happen because they were in New Orleans and it was like, oh, you need this, we need this. What if we did this kind of thing? Maybe.
Yeah. There's a sense that the Jaguars are always going to be active.
Yeah.
Right, like it's never going to turn off from that perspective. If they see an opportunity where they view it as an opportunity to get better, they're going to try to take advantage of it. Now, you don't know how any of these things are going to work out in the long run. That all gets decided on the football field, but it is kind of fun to see Gladstone just be willing to put it all out there. And that's why Travis Hunter's here in the first place. But it's fun to have a GM that's willing to do it this way. We'll see what kind of dividends it's going to pay in the long run. We just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I needed the Jags to be giving up a 4th and a 7th anyway, which is what New Orleans gave up for Devon Vele. I mean, he had a nice rookie season, and it's not. And he's an older guy, right? He came into the league. He's probably maxed out. He is maxed out physically. He's 27. He's almost 28 years old, and he's only going into his second year in the league. But he did have a nice rookie season. It wasn't overwhelming, but 41 catches, 475 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he did most of that in the second half of the year. So he looked like a guy on the rise. But they've got Cortland Sutton locked in for the long term. They really like Marvin Mims as a up-and-coming player. Troy Franklin has had a better offseason. He, of course, played with Bo Nix at Oregon, and so you would think that connection could be there. They drafted Pat Bryant, who has shown pretty well in the preseason, so sometimes you get a glut of guys. Hey, think of the Jaguars running back room, where there happens to be a glut of guys, and we'll hear Liam Cohen talking about that coming up in a minute. We'll get to his audio in the next segment, but
I do think, interestingly, just talking about the Vele point for a moment, because I do think the O'Halloran thing about the size is something, right? In this regard, I was curious because I hadn't looked at the stats on Vele, right? Like for anything. I was curious, did he play any special teams? The answer is no. He got 1 snap on special teams all last year. So that wouldn't be what they're looking for.
No.
There. And this is obviously a guy that would be coming in as the 5th or 6th wide receiver on the roster if they're willing to trade for him at this point. Now, maybe that gives you an indication of they're keeping 6. I don't know.
Possibly so.
But it points in that kind of direction.
Right, and that's the thing. Would he be active on game day, or any other guy like that be active on game day as long as everyone currently is healthy?
Yeah.
Don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Going to what Jamal said about the Bigsby being the guy that might be more easily replaced. All along, I think we're looking at like Etienne got the 5th-year option. He's making over $5 million. It's fully guaranteed. It's a big chunk of money. He's probably not long-term part of your future, right? So you look at Bigsby. He's got 2 more years on a rookie deal where he was a 4th-round pick. The money's a lot more affordable, which also probably is what makes him more attractive potentially as a trade acquisition for other teams as well. Like, hey, oh, by the way, he did outgain Etienne behind the same line by almost a yard per carry last year. So there's that going on. I don't know. I understand the whole Etienne is a much better receiver. He's used in a different variety of ways. But if Etienne's active, other than, all right, he's a great 3rd-down pass protector, what does LaQuint Allen give you that isn't replicated? And maybe it is just simply that, the pass protection on 3rd down. But if all 4 of these running backs make the roster for the Jaguars and are there on opening day and none of them get shipped out, who is the odd man out on game day? I mean, they've been running with Etienne as like the starter, or kind of co-starters with Bigsby. And you think Tootin can do a little bit of everything. He can also return kickoffs, so there's some of that factor in there. Yeah. I don't know what the answer to that
my guess would be Allen, but
that would be my guess. But he's so strong in the areas where he's strong.
Yeah.
That do you say, well, as long as we have Etienne and Tank up, maybe we don't have Tootin up. I don't know the answer to that again, and that's why I think it's an interesting proposition that somebody could come call and could come knocking on their door, and I wonder what the compensation they would be seeking for either one of those 2 veteran backs on this team. I guess time will tell as it plays out over the next week. We'll hear from head coach Liam Cohen straight ahead. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
He's been dominant here throughout the evening at Daytona.
The NASCAR Coke Zero Sugar 400, the Saturday night summer special at Daytona. Driven by Maxie's Mechanics. From the station with the most horsepower. Daytona 1010XL.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels. Summer heat has settled in, but don't sweat it. Big Chief Tire has your back with $50 off all AC services. Whether your system needs a quick recharge or a full repair, their expert team will keep you cool and road ready all season long. With 6 locations around Jacksonville, trusted service is always nearby. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your AC service. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your National Builder of the Year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
If you're playing fantasy football, you might want a little help. Get 1010XL's Fantasy Football Draft Guide with in-depth player bios and the top 32 rankings at every position. Get the guide at 1010XL.com and on all of the 1010XL social channels.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roof and Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through August 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roof and Contracting. Protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Football season is back, baby. Hicken here, and I know I'm excited to get back to watching some ball over the weekend. But with the fun comes responsibility. Taking care of your skin while outside, extremely important. We know it feels like 100 out there, and that sun is blazing. Make sure you bring the screen while loading up all that tailgate. It's simple. Protect your skin. It's the Sunshine State. To help you protect your skin, Beaches Dermatology is here. I've been going to them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Jacksonville, Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Hey, Denmark, how long did the Hacker Fantasy League draft take last night?
Oh, man, it started about 7 p.m. and went to about 9:45, 10 o'clock.
Close to 3 hours?
Yeah, about that time.
All right, Tony, let's set a goal for our 3 Jaguars Today leagues to collectively come in under the 3 hours.
All right, he had 16 people in his league.
Okay, we have 14 in each
right?
one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many rounds?
Last night, I think it was 16.
Yeah, okay, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So,
Like if one of our drafts takes like an hour and 20 minutes, where at some
It
point in the
angers
draft,
me.
we're going to be going, can you pick it up a little
Move
bit?
it!
Yeah.
we had a couple, man, I mean, last year, one of them got done in like 40-something
Yeah.
minutes. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Man, people come prepared, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Hacker Fantasy League has been drafted. How's Hacker's team? Did it look good in the end? Or, no?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't think he had a team actually in his own
Did he
league.
not?
I don't think so.
In his own league? It's unbelievable. All right. Let's get to the head coach, Liam Cohen. As he spoke yesterday after the joint practice session with the Miami Dolphins. We'll hit on some of the topical stuff here. Of course, always want to know about Travis Hunter. Tony, it's such a thing. You know, and Jaguar fans are all over this yesterday. Adam Schefter, Travis Hunter could not suit up, will not play this week, nor will any of the other starters on the team, right? And people were juxtaposing, like Cameron Wolf's coverage was like, hey, Liam Cohen said, you know, he could have played if we needed him to play.
It makes one wonder, do players that would have been able to play ever get held out of a preseason game? Like, is that a possibility?
Yes. Yes, it absolutely is a possibility. Here is the latest update on Travis Hunter from Liam Cohen.
No, it was just more like, do we want him now or potentially not in, Carolina? Like, it was more just being smart about, the next few weeks, because the ultimate goal is Carolina. So that's the thing that's at top of mind right now. And for him, could he have probably gone? I think so. Like, if this was Carolina, would he have probably played? Yeah. So we're moving in the right direction.
All right. I mean, I'd like to be a little more definitive than would he have probably played. Yeah. You know,
It would have been nice if it would have been. Yeah, if we were playing a game.
If we're playing, he'd be out there. There's no question.
Yeah.
You know, but he's got 2 weeks to go, and look, we'll see what happens. You know, he had a shoulder issue in college. Don't know if this is related to it or not. What he's dealing with, upper body officially, is what we're told. But there's the speculations out there exactly what he's dealing with, but I haven't been told that directly. So just hoping for the best.
Yeah. And as we said a couple days ago here on the show, it's week 3 of the preseason for this football team felt like all risk with no upside to me. like playing any of your guys. It's what are we going to get out of it that actually means anything for the Carolina game. I just didn't see anything that was worth the risk of putting him out there at this point. So I was not surprised at all. When Cohen yesterday was asked about it, he said, no, we're not playing our guys. I was like, good.
I don't have an issue if they wanted to go all in. Like if you want to say we're going to play 2 series with the starters.
It's one way to do it. Yeah.
Because you're going to be out there on the practice field. Guys can get hurt. There's still opportunities to get injuries over the next couple of weeks. And you've got to prepare yourself to play football. So different coaches have different approaches. Miami's going to play their starters a little bit. Is that the wrong decision? I don't know. You know what I mean?
No one's wrong.
Right.
It's just, do you win?
Right. And clearly, there's no you wonder in the meetings, all right, Liam Cohen, the way he phrased it, do we want him now or do we want him versus Carolina? You think, all right, everyone who wants him now, I like one guy's raising his hand. Yeah, oh, never mind. I'll put your hand down. No, of course you don't want him now compared to Carolina.
The risk-averse voices in the room won, right? Like that's what it's telling you.
Or just, yeah.
And that's the decision that was made for the football team, which is fine. Like, I'm on board with it here for week 3 of the preseason. Coach Cohen was also asked about a couple guys that we all were excited to see back on the practice field here in the last week or so, in Mason Smith and Eric Armstead. He was asked about getting those guys back on the field for the team.
You felt them yesterday as well in practice. Now, we weren't in a padded deal. We had the spiders on. But you definitely felt them a little bit more. You felt our size inside a little bit more yesterday. I got to go watch the tape. I didn't see a ton of the defense, but I think we stopped the run fairly well from what I understand. So it's nice to have those guys back in. They're long, big, physical dudes, and we know what they can, what Eric can do in a lot of ways, even though we haven't seen it. But Mason, man, he's a second-year player and needs as many reps as possible. So this is great work for him.
Yeah, John Shipley over at Jaguar Report in highlighting who stood out at practice in no particular order. I'm trying to remember the order, but it was Josh Hines-Allen, Brian Thomas, Eric Armstead, Trayvon Walker, Jarian Jones. Said Armstead probably had the best practice he's had since he's joined the team. So that's encouraging, at least. All right, what about that running back room? We've been talking about it. Here's what Liam Cohen had to say about it.
Yeah, we're still right in the thick of it, honestly. I mean, I think that we've seen great things from all 4 of those guys, really. Knowing that it's going to be darn near impossible to have 4 with a jersey on game day. That's the challenge that we have to work through over the next few weeks. He did. I thought he had a better day than he did yesterday at practice. He stepped it up a little bit better today. 1 and 4 got some quality work, but they've continued to kind of do the right thing for us. And then Quint, man, in pass protection continues to do a nice job. So we've got some work to do over the next few weeks here before Carolina to figure out who's going to get a jersey. And special teams has a lot to do with that as well.
We know the cut down for the 53 is coming up on Tuesday, and that'll change over those next few days as the waiver wire stuff will be coming up at that time too. So we'll see how active the Jaguars will want to be when it comes to the waiver transactions next week. But Coach said yesterday that I don't think we should assume that the 53 that make it on Tuesday will be the final 53 when we get to the end of next week.
The guys that are on our team, I think there's clarity. There's definitely I would assume there's probably gonna be some players on other people's rosters that will be on our roster. I mean, that's the reality of this thing. So, at multiple positions, we have guys that are either on the border or, hey, man, we're going to have to go and look elsewhere when the time comes. And that's just the reality of this time that we're in, this phase. But there are some guys that are going to be playing this weekend that are fighting for roster spots.
Rent don't buy, at least for, certain guys, you know who you are. But, the bottom of that roster is going to churn to some degree. How much? We'll find out. Some people speculating high single digits. I don't think it's going to be that much. Maybe 2 or 3 guys, something like that. Something along those lines, And, as many have offered up, watch the Rams and the Bucs, right? These are the teams they should be most familiar with their personnel. So if the guys let go that either James Gladstone was really high on when he was in Los Angeles or Liam Cohen liked a lot last year in Tampa, they may move to the top of the list. Time will tell. All right, hour 2 is right around the corner. Tom McManus is 20 minutes away live, in Las Vegas. He'll join us to break down some of the roster battles that he'll be looking forward to watching play out on Saturday night in Miami for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll come back and hear from Trevor Lawrence on the other side. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Wait, what are these numbers right here for?
It's
1010XL.
Let's count to 10, all right?
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Veteran owned and operated with a mission to change your conditions. For AC installs, repairs, maintenance, or ductwork, Ideal Conditions has been trusted by Jacksonville since 2007. Call Ideal Conditions for a company who shows up on time and gets the job done right.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
IdealConditionsJax.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Need electric vehicle repair? Guardian Collision is expert certified for any electric vehicle. Trust the home team for auto body repair on your EV. Guardian Collision. They guard what moves you at GuardianCollision.com.
Like to learn how to fly an airplane? Well, you're not alone. High Flying Jacko here, inviting you to listen Sunday morning. We'll start your aviation career with a 60-minute ride on the airwaves of 1010XL. The High Flying Show, Sunday at 9 on 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Did you know that for every inch of rain on a 2,000 square foot roof, 1,500 gallons come off the eaves of the roof? Call Clearwater Seamless Gutters and Drainage, and we'll design a plan using our Clearwater Seamless Gutters, and we'll connect those gutters to a Clearwater drainage system to solve your erosion and standing water issues.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters.
And drainage, too.
SeamlessGuttersJacksonville.com.
All right, Prosser here, and I've been telling you about Chad and Sandy. They make the promise. Let me show you some of the proof. This is Nicoletta and Daniel in Panther Creek. We don't recommend this, but we bought our new house before we sold our old one. Then worst case scenario happened. Our old home failed to sell in a year with another realtor. Finally, we got smart. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they sold it in 10 days above asking price. These are the results you're getting with Chad and Sandy at chadandsandy.com. Area homes are selling, but you got to have the right people on your side. Maybe you want max price. Doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. Maybe you just want to sell right now. Well, fast, easy, and stress-free, that's what Chad and Sandy bring to you. They have this guarantee. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. They're the local real estate experts you can trust for all of your real estate needs. Go to chadandsandy.com today. That's chadandsandy.com, or call that help hotline, 904-414-6200.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, so here's a reminder to get screened. Ackerman Urology has 4 convenient locations to help you put your prostate health first. Guys, don't put this one off. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Lee Bryce. What you know about that tour? Saturday, September 13th, St. Augustine Amphitheater. With special guests Ashley Cook and Lewis Bryce. Award-winning country sensation Lee Bryce. On sale now at AXS.com. Don't miss Lee Bryce Live.
How do you know that your roof is ready for the next big storm? You don't. That's why you need to call me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We'll assess your roof and fix those issues before they become storm disasters. Visit BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roofing quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
This is your local sports update.
I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. Former Florida head coach Urban Meyer will have his National Football Foundation on-campus salute at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium when the Gators host Tennessee on November 22nd. Florida State redshirt junior Jalen Lucas is on the preseason watch list for the Comeback Player of the Year award. Right now, 84 degrees at 11:01, time and 10, brought to you by Bueller Aaron Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, Tom McManus in Vegas with helmets and heels today. Our question of the day, asking you if you'd like to give us a response. We'd love to hear from you. Which position battle or battles intrigue you the most, basically, for the Jags tomorrow night? We'll go through ours. There are a bunch of them, Tone, that are interesting. And then you watch it play out, and then you got to watch the waiver wire after Tuesday's cut down date to see which of those guys get bumped anyway. Jamal St. Cyr mentioned Tyler Irwin. I think a lot of people feel that Austin Trammell is going to get that spot, that fifth wide receiver spot. That seems to the feeling that people have. I don't know what the coaching staff is thinking about that. I think they both offer a lot of the same traits. Been around for a few years. I think Irwin's a little bit more accomplished as a receiver. Trammell maybe a little bit quicker. They can both return punts for you. So we'll see. That could be one. I would expect they both get significant time on the field on Saturday, and could be yet to be determined among many others. Maybe not many others, but several others at least. Who are the safeties? What are the number of safeties?
For sure. Yeah.
Does a guy like Branson Combs make the team? There are a bunch of them, so we'll get into that as the hour goes along. Let's hear from Trevor Lawrence yesterday, and was just asked about the feeling that the offense kind of looked a little sloppy on the practice field yesterday versus Miami.
A little sloppy. I think speaking individually, there was a couple throws I missed, and then just a couple miscommunications. And it's good to go against a different defense. We've been going against our defense all camp. So just to see different looks, different disguises, to have to really play each play as its own and go back to some of our base rules is good for us as an offense, and kind of just measuring stick, like, hey, this is where we're at. This is kind of what we showed today. Let's learn from it and get better. So I think that's just an honest assessment of today. There's some stuff to clean up, but I thought guys competed hard, flew around. Just got to clean up some of the details.
Well, it's all in the details, isn't it? I mean, competed hard, flew around. What does that even mean? They
played football.
They played football, right? Yeah. They flew around. All right. I felt like just following the reporting of what was going on, that this was not a great day for the offensive line in particular, right? In protection, they haven't allowed a sack in 2 games, but against who? Not exactly a who's who of the best pass rushers in the National Football League. So it's something to watch, I think, going forward here, Tone, for sure. And I heard saw Pete Prisco tweet out basically words to the effect that both teams are over training camp.
That's the way it felt to him. Yeah.
To him. I would hope that's not the case for the Jags. Like Miami, this is the 3rd different team they've had a joint practice against, right? All right, here we go again. I would think for the Jaguars, they were eager to show, all right, let's have this measuring stick opportunity, because all we've had are a handful of series against mostly other teams' backups in the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a little curious if it was down to that kind of thing. I can understand, you see the finish line, right? Like Carolina is around the corner. And for so many guys on the roster, I think that's where the focus probably has been for a few days now, right, is on Carolina and getting themselves ready for whatever that's going to mean for them and their responsibilities and that kind of thing. And you get through a day of practice against Miami. It may be the way it felt to some of those guys. I think Pete seeing that a little bit, it's not all that surprising. It doesn't mean that it's something that I love. I would think you'd be up a little bit more for it, certainly than you would a typical training camp practice. Trevor Lawrence was also asked yesterday. He mentioned that it did feel like there were some things that were just a little bit sloppy, but he was asked, what did Miami do on defense that seemed to confuse the Jaguars offense?
Yeah, they do some great stuff. I think just some of the disguises they do, you get used to playing against your own defense and you see kind of the same disguises, so you start to pick up on certain things and you can protect it. But when you're seeing things for the first time, because you can't really game plan all the time when it's preseason and joint practice, you don't know what they're going to do. They could do new stuff. So coming out here, just like that's why I said having to play and then react to, sometimes you get in some bad situations because you might have sent the protection one way, they bring the pressure the other way. And then what do you do from there? As a quarterback with the ball, but also guys running the routes, how do they run their routes, speed them up, all those things. And we had some great looks, that didn't all go our way, but that we'll learn from.
All right, well, look, it's very important that you have the offensive cohesion and the chemistry and the timing and all that. But we always talk about what's the most important thing about preseason? Keep them healthy, right? Well, it is to a large degree, right? Obviously. And Trevor Lawrence, that's been an issue with him in his young career still. He's gotten nicked up and he's played through a lot. I'm not saying he's not tough, but nevertheless, he's had to deal with a lot of stuff. But right now, he says he feels pretty good physically with 2 weeks to go.
I feel really good. Physically, I feel very good. Shoulder, haven't had any issues. The rest of my body feels good. I think I've thrown it really well in camp. Like I said, missed a couple today. Go back, watch the tape, see some of the fundamentals. Can sometimes get a little out of whack when you start seeing some different pressures and stuff. So it'll be good to learn from the tape. But I really feel like I'm throwing it well, and just got to continue that, going into week one. And like I said, take care of my body. And Coach has done a great job with the camp schedule. I think he's pushed us, but he's kept us fresh enough to where we still get good work and guys are ready to roll and feel fresh.
Okay. Like, they had a plan for camp. Apparently, it's working for Trevor Lawrence.
I'm happy, right? Because, the shoulder was a question mark, and then
not so much now.
Hasn't had that. He feels like he's thrown it well, and I'll take his word for it. You listen to Trevor, and he's so matter of fact. He's so even-keeled. And I continue to hear people, media, fans, whatever, Trevor needs to grab somebody by the face mask, shake him up. It's not him.
Yeah.
It's not him, okay? I don't know. I'm not saying he's Joe Montana talent-wise, okay, or accomplishment-wise, but, did Joe Montana grab guys by the face mask, or was he Joe Cool and just kind of did, you know what? I mean, you could be effective in different ways. And again, I'm not putting them on a playing level at the same peak. No. I'm just saying you could be incredibly effective and not necessarily be an in-your-face screamer.
No. Guys have won different ways in the league, and certainly cool and calm has been an effective way to play quarterback in the NFL, and there's been some guys that have been fiery, and that's been effective too. I imagine that's a whole lot more about the team you're on than it is about whether or not the quarterback was yelling. In certain moments, I imagine that's more the roster was built the right way and allowed them to be more competitive.
Perhaps so. Look, I don't have an issue if Trevor wants to get in somebody's face. He has every right. You're the quarterback. You have that cachet, especially when the team is committed to you.
Right. If he does, as little as he does it, everyone would be like, whoa.
As long as it is organic and natural and legitimate, and it's not like, okay, today I got to jump somebody because things have not been going well. If it happens in the moment, so be it. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that's all of a sudden going to become a screamer.
Yeah, it's not necessary for him to reach whatever the next level is for him. It's to him to become a screamer. I don't look at it that way. Trevor was also asked about, Travis Hunter hadn't been able to be out there here for a few days. Obviously wasn't out there yesterday for the team in the practice against Miami. And Trevor was asked about just the time that he hasn't been able to be on the field here in the last week or so with Travis Hunter as they do get ready for Carolina in a couple of weeks.
We've gotten a lot of extra work just throughout the offseason, after practice, whatever, because, he's been doing both, so there's days where we miss some reps. So we've been trying to keep up with that already, but even more so now that he's missed some time. So hopefully we'll get him back out there running around really soon and can kind of make up some ground that we might have missed. The offense is in, so I wouldn't say you necessarily missed a lot installation-wise. We've already put everything in. It's just more so getting him back used to hearing everything because, when you're out for a little bit, sometimes the brain gets a little foggy. So just making sure he's sharp and ready to go. And then there is a couple routes that we haven't got to throw a ton of this spring just because of the limited time. So just working those on air, really, just timing stuff. Then when it comes to man coverage and him going and winning and making a play, I'm not as worried about that. I just got to give him a good throw.
Yeah, we've seen so little of Travis Hunter and Trevor Lawrence on the field together in a game type situation that it's going to be a mystery to some degree what happens against Carolina. But it did seem like one of the strategies they employed in week one of the preseason, let's just get him the ball quickly and try to let him use his natural running ability, right? Yeah. And block it up. And so let's manufacture some touches to kind of get him in the flow of the offense. Look, I don't care, man. Win 3-0, win 48-47, win 48-0 would be good too. But I don't just win. Just win.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're looking for here. Tom McManus would probably agree with that. He is out in Las Vegas. He'll join us next.
Made a couple of bets.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw the picture of it about 20 minutes ago.
All right.
He's
Well,
made a couple of Jaguars-related bets while he's out
I'm going to have to look into that, and we'll talk about that with Tommy Mack coming up. And we'll have that on the way on the other side, and we'll get into some of the roster battles he's looking forward to seeing play out as well. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark here with you. Tom McManus joins us straight ahead on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. He's our Big Mac.
It's Smash Mouth football, baby!
Tom McManus brings his big opinions to Jaguars Today.
Every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on 1010 XL.
Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on Sundays. Sometimes it's flag football, weekend yard work, or just playing with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Have you ever dreamed of owning a handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm? Well, now you can. Frank Frangie here for The Farm at Okefenokee. It's just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. At The Farm, it's not just about living off-grid. It's about reconnecting with nature, with food, and with community. Exploring hiking trails, kayak through Blackwater creeks, or just watch the sunset over your olive trees. It's a way of life. You can learn more. Go to Okie Farm. That's okefarm.com for your new way of life.
XL Primetime is back weekdays noon to 2, and on Wednesdays, join Dr. George Bari at 1:20 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Make sure you catch Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays at 1:20 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
When you've been in a crash and your mind's racing.
When you've fallen in a store and are blaming yourself.
When you've been hurt at work and you don't know what to do.
Or if you've been the victim of a medical mistake, we've got you.
We've got what it takes to prove a case that the insurance companies can't ignore.
With decades of experience and a track record of winning for our clients.
Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, got a minute?
Always. What's on your mind?
This time of year, my air conditioner is running non-stop. Hot all day, hot all night. It has to run constantly just to keep up.
Well, that's what they do.
But if something happens to it in the middle of a 2-week heat wave, I'm in trouble, Jason. I can't wait 3 days or 2 days or even the next day for service. If you can't get someone here today, I'm sweating by tonight. What if it breaks, Jason?
You call me, pal. That's what we do. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
But you're probably swamped with calls from everyone else's AC that ran nonstop and then broke in a heat wave, so they called you because that's what you do.
But we always have room for an emergency. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we have techs standing by because we know these things happen.
So I don't need to worry. Wow. That time you calmed me down without even using the sunglasses.
Oh, I was reaching for them.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, every day feels like the weekend. Fresh, never frozen chicken wings, tossed in over 30 bold flavors, paired with ice-cold beer and handcrafted cocktails, all in a laid-back, beachy atmosphere. And with every game on the big screens, it's the ultimate escape. And you're home for sports, too. Great food, cold drinks, and all the games. That's Hurricane Grill and Wings. Escape the ordinary and find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece. Mac in the Middle, Tom McManus. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service. On 1010XL.
All right, Tom McManus now has a financial incentive to see the Jaguars perform well in 2025. A couple of $100 wagers out there in Vegas on the over on 8.5 and for the Jags to win the AFC South crown. Good morning, Tommy Mac. First off, how are things?
Good morning. Everything's great, Dems. More wishful thinking on those picks, but I had to go for it. So I was like, you know what? It's early in the morning here. Let's lay it down and wish for the best.
Did you line shop that all? Because Dylan and I were both thinking, man, I thought we saw 7.5 at a lot of places, but over on 8.5. I hope you got some good odds on that.
I did, and that's why I went for him. Let's see, I got my tickets right here. I get, if I win the over, I make $1.55, so plus 155, and then I got them winning the AFC South division, and that's a plus 285. Deb. So I went with the more money opportunity, I guess. But they did offer 8.5, 7.5, and 6.5 for wins on the year.
Okay, all right. So you had your choice of which way you wanted to go, and you just went aggressive, like Tom
Very
McManus
aggressive.
is known to
Very
do.
aggressive. I'm thinking they go on a run. I don't know. You never know in this game.
You never do, right, Tom? I know you were not. Obviously, you were traveling yesterday, and much more than you had anticipated. But as it turned out, people can check your timeline for all the updates on that. But I'm sure you followed the coverage like we did of what went down in South Florida. It didn't sound like a great day for the offense, the offensive line, although most people feel that Brian Thomas Jr. showed up in a big way, and that it was a really strong day for the defense as well. What, if anything, do you take out of the reports you read about yesterday's practice?
Well, first of all, I love all the fights. That's pretty cool. I'm glad we got into some of that. It sounded like it was a pretty physical day, and it sounded like both defensive lines did work against the opposing offensive line. So the way I listen, man, they're not going to play in the preseason finale, which, whatever. I kind of wish the O-line would. I think some starters should, but you got to do what you got to do. But look, we got to find out about this O-line. I mean, I don't know. They keep getting beat, and it sounded like they really struggled yesterday, especially on the right side. I saw Jamal St. Cyr talk about that. It was a very sloppy day. Trevor didn't have a really good day. The standout was Brian Thomas, which is fantastic, but obviously we're going to need a lot more than that if we're going to win the division this year. That's for sure.
He said, I heard Ship talk about that, okay? I heard Ship talk about that, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Dylan looked at me like do I need to make a run for the dump button right there? No, that was John Shipley. You heard Ship talk about that. Yes, correct. All right.
My apologies.
It's all good. No, just wanted to make that clear to the FCC monitors.
Tommy, we know, look, training camp is done. Right. Preseason wraps up tomorrow. So we know what we're going to know going into the season about the football team to this point, right? I don't think we're going to learn a whole lot about the 53-man roster necessarily, not the guys that are going to be really important once we get into the regular season tomorrow against Miami. What do you think the identity of the 2025 Jaguars is going to be?
I'll tell you what they're going to be, Tony. I think they're going to be physical, first and foremost, because I think Liam Cohen and his staff are beating that into him, preaching it to him. Hey, man, we got to be physical. I read where who said that one of the players said, yeah, he thinks that Liam likes when we get into some fights. He likes that physicality. So we know what the blueprint has been in the past. If you smack the Jaguars in the mouth, they didn't really respond that well in the past couple of years. But I think this year will be, and moving forward, will be different. I think you'll see a much more physical team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And listen, if they can get this O-line together and get a running game going, I think you'll see a pretty physical offensive line as well.
All right, Tom, let's start on the offense tomorrow. Obviously, not going to see Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas, any of the frontline guys. So where are the battles that you're intrigued by? Is it the end of the offensive line room? Is there a spot to be won there, the wide receiver group? What are the areas you would most likely hone in on tomorrow?
Well, I think what's an interesting story is who's going to be wide receiver number 5, who's going to be 6. You got Irwin, you got Trammell, of course, Pancol, the young kid. They seem to like. I think it's between those 3. I would think Trammell and Irwin end up being number 5 and number 6. It seems to be that way. Look, I know it's probably beaten to dead horse, but the O-line still concerns me, and I'm talking the starters. Where's Udoga fit? I think that's still something we got to figure out. I saw where McCary really struggled yesterday. The right side of the line struggled. So we need to figure that one out. And then, look, I'm looking at Christian Braswell, man. I hear he made more plays yesterday. He continues to, try to find a way onto this 53-man roster. But I think the back end of that defensive secondary is going to be interesting to see who makes it. And look, for a lot of these guys, good thing for a lot of the guys is the non-starters, they're going to get a chance to really give one final look, one final push. I'll go back, and I don't mean to, go back but 95, I was told before the last preseason game, it was our 5th one of the year against the Rams, and my linebacker coach, Steve Zabel, said, right before kickoff, I get my locker, he's like, if you don't play your best tonight, you're not going to be here tomorrow. And I went out and had a good game and ended up being there. But that's what these guys are under right now. And not just guys trying to make the team, the guys that are trying to solidify or make a starting position if they get the opportunity this weekend, they'll be able to show that. But that's what these guys are facing right now. So, best of luck to all of them. Not everyone's going to make it. They're going to have to make some tough cuts. I feel really good about the team. I love that Eric Armstead's back. Sounded like he made some plays yesterday. I like that he's inside. I think our D-line's going to be a force. It's just that offensive line. Can they get it together? And if they can, and Trevor didn't have a good day yesterday. It didn't appear. I know he had to throw to Brian Thomas. Maybe another one they would have called a sack. Maybe, that's always, subjective. Was he sacked? Was he not sacked? Especially in those kind of, environments where you can't hit the quarterback. But if they can get that together, they could be a formidable team, I think. But that's going to be the biggest one. Can they get this O-line to where it's not a liability? And so far, I'm not saying it's a liability, but they got some work to do to make sure they clean that up and get a really solid O-line. I think they have it. I think they have the personnel. But I want to see Udoga out there again. I think he brings something to the table with that force and that power. And you know what? Maybe he should be our right guard. Plug him in there. And maybe McCary can slide out. I don't know. But if they can figure out the O-line, this team could be interesting. I'll say that.
Tommy, you mentioned Christian Braswell there. And I think when we're looking at what's going to happen on Tuesday with the roster cuts, look, teams typically keep 5 corners, 5 safeties. The math there is typically 10. The math at wide receiver is usually 5 or 6 for a football team. Mm-hmm. We talked, going into training camp about the flexibility that Travis Hunter is going to give them somewhere with a roster decision on the 53. Where do you think that's going to ultimately come into play? Like, how do you think they count him as far as the math of figuring out the 5 and 5 in the secondary and the 5 or 6 wide receivers?
I'm sticking him in the wide receiver category, and then I'm adding I'm adding to a group that'll be good on special teams. Typically defensive backs, they can run, the linebackers, maybe tight ends, in that regard. But that's what you're looking for. So I think they named Travis a receiver, and then they open up another spot on that defensive secondary. Or if, like, say, Branson Combs is so good on special teams, he's just got to be on the team, then you make that kind of move in that kind of way. But I think that's how we go down.
Tom, during your time when you made the 53, mm-hmm. how everybody else was releasing players. Were you sure you were on, or was that a nervous next 48 hours or so to see if the Jags decided to pick somebody else up to take your spot?
No, I didn't know till I didn't know until we went out. So it was a Monday. The Turk comes in. He doesn't come. The Turk is the guy that tells you to go bring your playbook to the coach. And I saw him walk in. Ron Hill. I've known Ron for a long time, and he stopped. I kept my head down the whole time because I'm like, oh, please don't pick me. Please don't pick me. And then he stopped. Like, I see his feet, and then he walked by. I was like, okay, that's interesting. So anyway, they're like, all right, we're going out to condition. We go out to condition. We're running hundreds. The DBs run first. Linebackers went second. And right as I finished my first, Vinny Clark, our starting corner at the time, was like, bro, congratulations, man. You've been balling. You made the team. I was like, wow, that was crazy. And then Coughlin immediately after practice, like, listen, you made the team, but that doesn't mean you're secure. So I still had to, impress enough to stick around. But yeah, it's and not look. Most of the times by then you know if you're a starter or not. But making that team, yeah, man, it can be gut wrenching. It can be gut wrenching because like if you don't make it, you gotta go home, and everyone knows you didn't make it, and it's a tough thing to deal with, but not everybody makes it, and football ends for everybody at a certain point, and hopefully for these guys, they get to keep going on and make a career out of it because there's nothing better than playing in the NFL. That's for sure.
What would the running back room look like in Tommy Mack's ideal universe, assuming all four of these guys are going to be on the 53-man roster? What is the plan for those four guys on game day?
Good call, brother. Good call. I'm going to go ETN. This is what he brings to the passing game. He ran a play, I think it was the last Sunday against the Saints where he came out of the backfield, play action. He went up, did a 5-yard option route. Trevor, nice ball, great completion for like 9 yards. He turned it up the field. I think that's what he brings to the table. I think he's shown that he's explosive. So he would be my number one right now. I'm kind of leaning towards Tootin being number two and figuring Tank out. I think I like Tank. I really do. I think he's a good back. And I don't want to say I want to trade him or anything like that. I don't know what I would do with him, but like Liam said, you're not going to have four on game day. It's hard to play four. So I would go. My top three would be Travis Etienne Jr., would be Baishul Tootin, and then LaQuint Allen Jr., I think would be my three going into game day.
That's going to be very interesting, and it will be fascinating to see because we know James Gladstone's, talking behind the scenes. He brought in Colin Saunders. There's a report that, they were at least inquiring about Devon Bailey in Denver before he got traded to the New Orleans Saints. So who knows what he's got up his sleeve right now as other teams may approach him with the Jags' hopefully enviable depth at the position. Tom, coming up today, Helmets and Heels in about 2.5 hours. What will you and the ladies have for us out in Vegas?
Well, we're going to have one of the owners, Derek Stevens from Circa. Here's something cool. So we met him last night, a little function, and he's like, hey, I'm from, so where you from? He's like, Michigan. I'm like, Pete Mitchell's a good friend of mine from Bluefield Hills. And he just kind of looked at me. He's like, Pete Mitchell's the second greatest football player to ever come out of Brother Rice. I'm like, yes, he is. But who's number one? And he's like, Mike Lotus, the defensive lineman from the Denver Broncos. So, all right, good call there. But, yeah, we met the owner. This place is unbelievable. Circa's unbelievable. I'm looking outside my window. They've got this massive screen and this pool and obviously all the casino and whatnot. We're going to talk a lot about our Jaguars, of course, and what's going on going into the final preseason game. We'll look at the Miami, what we saw and saw on video and whatnot and read. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk a little SEC as they now, trying to make teams play 9 conference games. So that'll be an interesting talk. So, yeah, all football, and we'll get into it and get ready for a big day of fun here in Las Vegas. I'll tell you what, Tony, you'll appreciate this. We're walking outside last night, and it's hot. It's different kind of hot.
It's dry, but it's hot. Yeah.
It feels like Total Recall. Like they're pumping in the heat. It was the weirdest feeling. I'm like, man, I feel like we're walking down the street. Like this is Total Recall or something. It's interesting. I'm like, it's coming out of a vent. Yeah. It's got to be. It just seems so wild. But
avoid the red planet, Tommy. Yeah.
Cohagen.
That's right.
Cohagen. All right.
That's right. All right, guys.
Tom McManus, have a great day. Have a great show out there. Safe travels and hopefully speedier travels when you make your way back to Duval.
Yeah, say a prayer. We got a direct flight, so maybe that'll help.
Sounds good. We'll see you in studio next week, bud.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, there he goes. Tom McManus catching with Helmets and Heels with Lauren Brooks and Taylor Dahl coming up at 2 p.m. today. Quick timeout. Back with more on your Jags on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. You know, football season, it has arrived, right? It's not even around the corner anymore. It's time for some tailgating, hosting parties at the house, college football on Saturday afternoons. Well, look, I didn't know this until recently, but Dandy, aside from making great-tasting grab-and-go sandwiches, also delivers to your door tailgate subs, party trays, all kinds of stuff. Go online to dandyfoods.com and shop to your heart's content. They're perfect for snacking while you watch the game. We got treated to some Dandy tailgate subs just a couple of weeks ago. Let me tell you, they're just as fantastic and even fresher than the sandwiches you get in area convenience stores. And those are as fresh as they can be. Delivered daily all around the First Coast, made with the highest quality ingredients, fantastic variety, and prices that still remain reasonable no matter what the economy is like. When you're hungry in Duval, folks, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy. Do it today.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
We're a veteran and still 100% locally owned and operated HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, and general contracting company. Ideal Conditions has been BBB accredited with an A+ rating since 2008 with 4.9 out of 5 stars from over 1,000 reviews on Google.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal conditions.
IdealConditionsJax.com.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Is your backyard ready for the big leagues? Pick it here for Surfside Pools. Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, they have the home field advantage. Family owned and operated, offering weekly pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools make your backyard dreams a reality. Are you ready to float happy? Visit SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, your hometown MVP.
License number CPC 044080.
Jeff Lagerman for Napa Auto Care Centers. This football season, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or travel to the away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASE certified professionals at any one of the 29 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions. Napa Auto Care Centers offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace of mind warranty on most repairs. Find one near you at jacksnapaautocare.com.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Now this is how you end a summer. Under the lights, surrounded by history. The driver's last shot at the playoffs. Your last chance to see regular season action. Friday night, Xfinity lights the fuse. Saturday night, the Cup Series delivers the fireworks. This is Daytona. This is everything. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 22nd and 23rd. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
We've all seen great overtime games and thrilling finishes, but when it comes to having a big time, knowing when to say when is key. Budweiser reminds you to win the day and night by designating a driver. That's a victory every time.
Kuhn Flowers announces their home holiday decorating team is now taking orders for the holiday season. This is Max with 1010XL. No more hassling with tree buying, untangling, and hanging burned out lights. Call Kuhn Flowers. They'll do it all.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, moving along here. Get a little more audio in from your Jacksonville Jaguars post-practice yesterday, Tony. Then, we'll divvy up what we think are some of the battles to watch. Maybe we'll do that actually first. We'll save Jordan Lewis. So let's do that, Dylan Denmark. We'll save him for let's do this. I'm gonna program the show on the fly. We'll go around the league. Dylan's gonna be a big eyeball look like shut your mouth and decide one course of action. Let's go around the league and then we will do today's 10-10 take.
Now, gems around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson was not able to participate in practice yesterday after being stepped on the day before, but the exams have come back negative, and head coach John Harbaugh said he is fine going forward, so nothing to worry about there. With the MVP, Pittsburgh first-round pick Derek Harmon suffered what head coach Mike Tomlin called a sprained knee after the game, but did say that he will be undergoing further testing on the injury today. Carolina has activated tight end Tommy Tremble off of their PUP list. Cleveland has placed linebacker Nathaniel Watson on injured reserve. Seattle has announced that rookie quarterback Jalen Milroe will start and play the entirety of their final preseason game tomorrow against Green Bay.
All right, thank you, Tone. And today's question of the day lingers out there. If you want to weigh in on it, we're asking you what are the position battles or just single battle that you're most interested in for Jacksonville when the Jags take on Miami in the preseason finale tomorrow. Why don't we discuss ours right now with today's 10-10 take?
10-10 take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
I feel like that all came together very nicely, Tone. All right, look, running back, I'm not that interested in watching the running back position other than to see how many carries they put on Jaquindon Jackson and Kevin Harris, because I think Jaquindon Jackson, they'd like him to get to the practice squad. Do you want to give him 15 carries in this game and have him go for 90 yards and a touchdown? You know what I mean? Like, and somebody out there going, we are in the running back market. Rather than trade for this guy, we'll just scoop this guy up off of waivers. You know, I don't know how he's thought of around the league. So I'm not really that interested in the running back battle because I don't think you're going to see any of the top four guys play tomorrow. I am interested in the tail end of the wide receiver battle. I don't think Irwin and Trem will both make this team. All right, so if it's a 5 and 6, if they keep 6, I think it's more likely one of them and like a Bray boy who would be your Tim Jones special teams ace kind of guy, right? If it goes that way. And on the offensive line, I think most people feel like Chuma Edoga is going to open the season as a starter. Now, that's provided that he's healthy. So I'm curious to see which, if any, I don't think they're just going to go in with the third string offensive line active for this game. Right? Does Fred Johnson get some reps, and how long does he play? And is that something that tells you anything? I just think with Edoga being a little bit banged up, Anton's been a little bit banged up, I still think 10 is the number that they keep on the offensive line. So offensively, what are you looking for?
Yeah, I think it's more and more likely that it's going to wind up being the 10. Yeah, I think it is the 5th, 6th wide receiver. How many of those guys do they want to keep? And I think the Vele thing at least gives you the indication that they're open for business when it comes to the bottom end of the wide receiver depth chart here in Jacksonville. So I think that whoever makes the roster on Tuesday as the 5th and 6th wide receivers for this team, that is the most tenuous of positions, right, for the team. I think they will be going through the waiver wire, seeing who's letting go of who, and that may be where one of the couple of additions that I could see them making on the waiver wire actually come into play would be at the wide receiver spot. I did think, talking to Tommy a moment ago, as we flip over to the defensive side of the ball here, for this thing, the comment that he made about Combs when I asked about the flexibility that Hunter gives him on the roster and trying to figure out where is that going to show up, right? Where's the decision they're making on the 53-man roster that the flexibility that Hunter gives them to play both ways comes into play? And I think it is interesting that Combs could be that guy, right? That they wind up keeping your typical 5 corners, 5 safeties and say, we really like Combs, right? Like, we just really like him. We aren't totally sure that we could get him to the practice squad. I think they probably could, but not totally sure we can get him to the practice squad. Is that where that extra body comes into play on the 53-man roster? I think the decision they're going to have to make at that 5th safety spot is as interesting as any decision they're going to have to make on the 53.
Yeah, I think as well, in terms of Combs, is Jeff Lageman, right? Is Devin Lloyd's roster spot in jeopardy here, right? I polled a bunch of folks in the media, names you would know, and I didn't say I was going to put their name on it, so I'm not going to tell you, but it's these are all legit Jaguar reporters, and a couple of them hesitated, but all of them in the end eventually said, I think he makes the cut to the 53. Mm-hmm. He did practice well yesterday, apparently, against Miami, but that would be a spot where, okay, if you're doing the numbers game, I mean, Ventrell's been an oft-injured player as well. Could you go with Ventrell and Branson Combs along with Kaiser and Aluakin and Gardeck? And then do you keep your Yasir Abdullah because Gardeck has had his own injury history? That's a possibility. But for me on defense, I think BJ Green versus Danny Strigal maybe for one roster spot, right? Mm-hmm. And I'd been on Strigal last week when we did our projection. BJ Green's pressure numbers are hard to ignore here in the preseason. And, assuming Devon Hamilton, Eric Armstead, Mason Smith, and Colin Saunders are all on this team, is it a battle for one spot between Tyler Lacey, Austin Johnson, and can Jordan Jefferson do anything right now to change anybody's mind if he's on the outside looking in?
Yeah, and I know the plan is that we're going to do our cut down to 53 on Monday again, like we did, earlier this week. So we're going to do the exercise again on Monday. I know before we even get to it on Monday, I am going to have Fred Johnson on the 10 now. Right, on the offensive line. Like, I know that's one of the changes I'm going to make, and I'm not sure who's coming off because I'm making that decision yet. But I know that's one of the directions I'm going to go with it because I have no idea what's going on with Cole Van Lanen as far as his health. And Fred Johnson played well enough last week that I think he's on the roster for the football team. I have a whole lot fewer questions about Fred Johnson than I did 2 weeks ago in the process here. But that'll be fun to at least go through the exercise again, and then the team's going to do the real exercise, and we'll find out all the answers we got wrong on the test on Tuesday when they make the announcements on the 53.
Right. I mean, it's a short-term kind of like, how you feeling kind of thing, and then it becomes official, and then it doesn't matter at that point in time, like a lot of things in sports, quite frankly. But that's where we're at. All right, we got to take our final time out here. I got one or two on the line. We'll try to get to you on the other side. Also want to hear a little bit from Jordan Lewis and maybe some of the people that were responding, nominating some of the battles that they're intrigued to watch as well. We'll go through some of those with the question of the day as we wrap up Jaguars Today, straight ahead on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. The Everbank London Getaway Experience. One lucky winner and a guest get round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and tickets to see the Jags play in London. Everbank.com/London for official rules. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Everbank London Getaway Sweeps entry period 7/28/25 to 9/5/25. Enter and get official rules and details at everbank.com/London.
This is Jaguars Today Friday, brought to you by CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
The dog days of summer are here, and Superior Fence and Rail is throwing you a bone. Right now, get 5% off any fence project 100 linear feet or more through August 22nd. Whether you're looking for added privacy or to keep your pets and family safe, now is the perfect time to invest. Contact Superior Fence and Rail today for your free estimate. Cannot be combined with other offers. New contracts only.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air. keeping you comfortable in every season.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood. Underwood has completed 75 years in business, and now you are starting your next 75 years. If you were going to simplify things, what is the single most important thing in Underwood's history, and what will be the most important thing in your future?
Frank, that's simple. Our honesty and integrity. You know, our founder, H.F. Underwood's favorite saying was, know the truth and tell the truth. That's why we're the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in Florida, because we know you have to have the knowledge about gemstones before you can tell the truth about them. That's why we continue to educate our staff through the Gemological Institute of America and the American Gem Society. In fact, today, Underwood's has the largest American Gem Society credentialed staff of professionals east of the Mississippi River. So come by and see why we're looking forward to the next 75 years and let one of our experts assist you.
That's at Underwood's, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, the Shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, the wings are fresh, the drinks are cold, and the game is always on. With 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, and handcrafted cocktails, there's no better place to kick back and catch every play. Escape the ordinary. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Let's get the work done. Training camp is here.
Up, quick feet, quick feet, quick feet.
1010XL's training camp coverage is backed by Roland Reach Plumbing and Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Go, here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back. Our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Is that us, Dylan? Should we talk now?
This your cue.
All right, I'm just trying to, last-minute shenanigans in the Jaguars Today fantasy leagues. Just, you don't need to hear about it. It's fine. It'll all get done. But if you have submitted a request for one of the spots, I'm thinking maybe Sunday might be the day. I said Monday probably would be the earliest I sent out invites. I got so many already, Tone. Still give you a day or two to get some more in if you haven't sent your one email on the subject already. And went through the whole thing yesterday. I'm not going to go through it again, how you can get a spot. You can go back and listen to that or just go on Twitter where I have been bumping that thread for the last couple of days. All right, let's get to a little bit of Jordan Lewis here as we get ready to wrap up and head into the weekend. Jordan Lewis, after practice yesterday, he's had, by all accounts, a terrific training camp, maybe the best of the corners out there, and was asked, how much he learns about his teammates when you're in this kind of situation practicing against another team.
How resilient they are. It was hot. We were doing special teams, and the periods was coming fast. And then it was back to back to back. We didn't have the offense go, and then we went. It was just periods just us going. So the way they fought and went out there and handled business, it means everything. Especially in this kind of environment. It was hot, muggy, and we just got after it. So I'm happy with what we did. Like I said, it's always something to improve. Always something that we can get better at. But I think we're sending it in the right way.
Tony, with Jordan Lewis playing as well as he is, and people think, he'll be the second corner in base defense, how often that happens to be. Jarian Jones, according to John Shipley, had one of the best practices of anybody again. I feel like he's every time in practice, he's really standing out.
He's a really good player. Yeah.
If you're going to lean on Travis Hunter on one side or the other early in the season, is it going to be offense? I know we don't know, but it's going to be this great mystery. And how many defensive backs do they keep? And is Monteric ready for the start of the season and all these different things?
It's the flexibility that they have with Jarian Jones and the level that it feels like he's playing at right now.
Yeah.
And that Parker Washington is playing at right now.
Right.
Like, it makes it one of those decisions where it's like, well, I don't think we can be wrong. Right? Like, technically, with how much we want to, if we want to lean one way or the other, I think the other option we have at those spots is good enough that we're not going to get burnt. right, on making whatever decision we're going to make when it comes to Hunter.
Well, I wanted to follow up. D-Rock mentioned this yesterday, and we went back and researched it. And it did change last March, not this year. Like, this changed for the 2024 season.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten about this, quite frankly, that you can place two guys on IR before the final 53 cut down, and you can designate them
short-term IR
as short-term IR, that you will be bringing them back, and they don't have to be on the 53.
Right.
So basically, you can have 55, okay? And with two of them already allocated, because all the rest that are on IR, if you don't single them out. Now, once you get into the season, you put a guy on IR, you don't have to designate him for a return. You decide if you're going to bring him back or not, but it doesn't have to be like the old system was you had to circle this guy. He's on IR, but he's designated to return.
I think they got to choose two.
Little more flexibility.
Yeah.
Now you can return up to 8 guys during the season. You know, and you return the same guy more than once.
Yeah.
But it's a limit of 2. So you're looking at, we don't know what they know about Cole Van Lannon, Monteric Brown, Caleb Ransaw, and Wyatt Milam for that matter. But I would imagine, particularly those first 3, that 2 of them are going to be placed on IR with the designation to return at some point in the season, and then still have the 53-man roster announced after that.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see which of those 2 they happen to choose to do that with, right? Like the math at safety is a little bit more iffy, right, as far as keeping whatever bodies. So my expectation would be it's likely Ransaw would be one of them, but I don't know exactly where that's going to go.
All right, that's it for. We're not going to have time for more Jordan Lewis, but because I want to get just a few of the responses out there. We asked you what position battle or battles you're honing in on. Scott went with offensive line depth, interior defensive line depth, defensive backfield, code blue specifically safety and D tackle, all O-line positions. Irish diplomacy, backup running back. Again, I don't think you're going to see a running back that's going to make the opening day roster play for the Jacksonville Jaguars tomorrow night in Miami. That's my feeling about it anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. 5th and 6th wide receiver, 4th and 5th safety, and the last couple of guys on the O-line for Ed. So we're all circling kind of the same areas right there. And I think you and I agree. Whichever wide receivers are the last ones are the ones who probably should sleep the lightest when the rest of the cutdowns come around the National Football League. All right, so our damage is done. Our time is done here on Jaguars Today. So let us welcome in XL Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, Big Sirs is out with the crew at Cigars International. I can see you on my screen, Leon. You look very handsome. Is that Miami Hurricanes orange that you're wearing right there?
No, I'm not sure what color it is.
Okay.
It's putrid, I guess.
Putrid?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if putrid's a color, but or you're just describing the color, but whatever. Dylan says he thinks it's salmon. That's what he's going with.
Salmon, I'll go with salmon.
All right, salmon can be delicious.
Yes, it can be delicious.
Yeah, and so can cigars, as you well know. I know you're a big aficionado of the cigars. And
it is.
I know you guys have Coach Campo out for kind of his wrap-up show out there today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're at Cigars International in the town center. It's indoor, outdoor seating. Has full bar. It's one of my watering holes I like to frequent. The Big Sur Cigars will be here in a couple of months. So I love this place.
All right, what are you breaking down on the program today?
We're going to break down the Jaguars. We're going to break down the SEC schedule, and then we're going to go conference by conference. Today's conference is a Big 12, and we're going to pick a champion today.
All right, Leon, have a great show, and hopefully the Jags stay healthy, and we get that 53-man roster that we're looking for that can hopefully contend for the AFC South crown when they make the cutdowns this week.
Totally agree.
All right, Leon, have a great show, buddy. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank
All
you.
right, XL Primetime. By the way, Coach Campo, I think, got the memo on the salmon there, Tony. I think they're wearing matching outfits out there. You can stream that on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, or stop by Cigars International and say hello to the fellows and thank Coach Campo for all his many contributions to the local radio scene out there. I will see you tomorrow at the Miller Electric Center. It'll be a mostly quiet affair while they're on the road. Denmark, good luck to the Baldwin tribe tonight.
I appreciate that.
Trying to get that dub against Inglewood.
Hopefully we get it in.
You know, and if Inglewood wins, I'm going to claim them because my wife used to work there as a guidance counselor back in the day.
Fair enough.
So I will claim them. and talk crazy smack to you. But otherwise, I'll never have heard of Inglewood if they lose to the Baldwin Indians tonight. All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you to all of our guests this week, including today. Of course, our own co-host, Tom McManus, joining us from Vegas. He'll be out there with the Helmets and Heels crew coming up in a few hours, and Jamal St. Cyr from Channel 4 as well. Be on the lookout in your email for your fantasy league invites, as they'll probably go out on Sunday, and I will definitely tweet out once those have been sent out, so you know if you should be looking for them, or if maybe you didn't get the one you're looking for this year. All right, that's going to do it for us. Hopefully the Jags stay healthy, perform well. We'll break it all down with a roster projection coming up on Monday. Thanks for listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and